Akshat Damble is an TEDx speaker and a psychologist based out of Bangalore and also visiting consultant in Gurgaon and Mumbai. He has been working for the cause of mental wellness in different sections of society. He has been working with a wide range of clients.
Now being recorded.
He has been working with wide range of clients going through different mental issues. He has been working as the chief counselor and trainer at Sahai, which is part of COVID response, a national level collective. Being an NLP practitioner and having undergone few more certifications, he has also been trainer and a life coach. He has conducted workshops on stress management, conflict management, exploring the self, leadership, etc. for bankers, police personnel, teachers, book education officers, corporates, and so on. He is also an author and he also an author and has published 4 books and also a columnist in leading newspapers. He is an amateur Carnatic classical musician too. Being the founder of Mano Samvada, he is also a consultant in many other organizations. He has been keynote speaker at several national and international conferences. The most important part of his introduction, I feel it, proud to announce that he graduated from Alva's Education Foundation. So, ladies and gentlemen, I once again welcome Mr. Akshat Damble to this session. Thank you, sir. Over to Prajataya, sir.
Thank you, Professor, and Akshara sir, you can start the session, sir. Over to you. And I'm requesting most of you are going with the presentation mode. Don't go for that. It is presentation mode reserved for Akshara Damble, sir. Mr. Siddharth, you are into presentation mode.
Whether my screen is visible?
Yeah, it's
yeah, sir. Visible, sir.
Okay. So I'm very happy to be here, and I'm very enthusiastic that a lot of have joined for the webinar. And so today's objective is to understand vulnerabilities and to deal with the present situation in a better way, especially in terms of keeping up a good mental health. So these are the 2 objectives of today's session that I'd like to discuss, and why it is important that what we are speaking today about mental health is something that is taboo in our society, that many of us do not feel good to talk about our mental illness. Many of us do not feel happy to share, or at least it is okay to share that we are also going through some mental illness, whether it is stress, anxiety, depression, fear, or any of that sort. One of the main reasons for this is the term pagal, or people call as mad. Everybody says that they are going through some mental trauma. However, in course of time, things have got changed, or slowly things are becoming different, and people are slowly opening up towards mental illness and also towards mental health issues. So, in a way, it is a very good change. And in fact, since I'm working in a helpline for mental health services, what we are seeing is a lot of people who call us actually acknowledging probably we should have reached out to a psychologist much earlier in our life. We have been going through a lot of things. However, now the situation has become so difficult to bear with, so we had to figure out some way or the other to get rid of it, and that is how we have approached this helpline and so on. So this is something that, however, as Indians, we should also appreciate that in India, it is not that the first time or in the recent times we have been talking about mental health. In the Patanjali's Yoga Sutra, the second sutra mentions that Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha, which means yoga is restraining the mind from taking various forms, that is chitta and vrittis. The Ayurveda also mentions, and since I also got to know that there are a lot of people from Ayurveda and other medical sector, Ayurveda says that Mano Vahasrotas, that is one of the primary channels named in the Ayurvedic tradition, is the channel of mind. So, which means that both yoga and Ayurveda have given enough importance to the mental health. Rather, they consider it as one of the significant or prominent ways of treating a person. But in course of time, there are a lot of historical reasons for that, because initially in India there was no sufficient mental health facilities, because only the critically ill patients were being admitted into the mental health facilities, because of which we have started seeing that mental health is only for mad people. All right, this is about mental health. What has happened to us now?
Akshara sir, some audio issue is there. Hello. Hello.
This kind of pandemic has created issues in physical health. Of course, we know a lot of issues that appear as symptoms of COVID-19. Health, at the same time spiritual health, and also socio-economic health. So these are the 4 types of issues that are coming up because of a pandemic like this. It's not just because of COVID, but also in disaster.
I am Sriraj, your audio is not clear, sir.
Sorry, was it to me? Kindly mute yourself so that I don't get any other messages or voice distractions. So these are the major issues that have come up in the present situation. As you know, physical symptoms are fever, tiredness, dry cough, aches and pains, nasal congestion, runny nose, sore throat, and diarrhea. So these are the general physical symptoms that we can see, though it is also true that many people who have contracted COVID-19 do not show any of these physical symptoms, but still they are the carriers of the virus. So that is what actually a threatening thing, because many a times we will not be aware that the carriers of the virus, we do have active virus or virulence in our body, but at the same time we will be going around healthily, and that will impact the vulnerable ones. So these are the physical symptoms that we need to take care about, and the mental health. So this is something that is very, very important, and we need to take care, because this, I mean, most of the people, whether you have physical symptom or not, whether you have any other issues or not, whether you have economic crisis or not, but at the same time, almost everyone is going through a mental health crisis. Let us see what are they. What are the major psychological issues that we are seeing? So we are witnessing fear, stress, sadness, hopelessness, confusion, sleeplessness, lack of self-worth, guilt, lack of interest, loneliness, anger, and so on. Now, can I ask all of you to just type in the emotions or the issues that you can relate to among the list, in the list. Can you just text on the chat box which of the issues, whether it is fear or anxiety or whatever, do you relate to any of them? PPT is not visible. can someone tell me whether the PPT is available? I mean, is visible? Oh, not visible. I have been sharing the PPT. Can you see now?
No, sir. Still, it is showing block.
ಕೋರಿ ಬತ್ತೊಂಬೈದು ಮಾರಿದೆ ಕೋರಿ ರೇಟ್ಲೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಿ.
Anybody else has intervened in between? Because here I can see I am presenting to everyone. All right, no problem. I'll
requesting everyone to mute your
not
audio.
visible since
ಗೊರ್ಲೆ ಬಂದೇನ
Yes, sir. You can proceed. So here,
okay. So the slides are visible or not?
Not visible, sir.
Oh. I don't know what is the issue. Just give me a minute.
And your audio also not clear, sir. Audio issues is there.
Okay. Can you see the screen? I will see the slides.
Yeah, yeah. Yes, sir.
ಅದೇ
Okay.
ಇಜ್ಜಪ್ಪ
Yeah. So great. If I see a few responses, few people are saying sleeplessness. Few people I could see saying anxiety, fear, and so on. All right. So what is fear all about? How fear affects us? So if you are having any fear, let us ask these questions, because questions make us think clearly and then get a clarity over what is that we are feeling and then how to address it. So where is fear coming from is the first question that you need to ask. Is it coming from within you or is it coming from the outside? Sometimes what happens is we will be feeling comfortable, we will be feeling okay, we will be feeling optimistic, but at the same time our neighbor will start showing all anxious issues, and then we start feeling, oh, probably this is real and we have to be fearful about it. So this is what you need to look for, whether the fear is coming from within or from outside. Are you susceptible to diseases? In the sense, are you somebody who is generally vulnerable to any kind of cough, cold, fever, and any kind of diseases for that matter? Whether your immunity is lesser, or whether your fear has any rationality? Do you have any contact with somebody who had COVID-19, or have you not been taking care well in terms of preventive measures like wearing mask or sanitizing your hands and cleansing yourself, or keeping hygiene at the upper level? Or all those things there is, if you were not so careful earlier, then certainly you will have to have certain fear. Then are you someone who has traveled or met somebody who had traveled? Say, did you have, say earlier it used to be that somebody who has come from outside will be maybe the carrier of COVID-19, but that's not the case now. Even if you have met somebody who has traveled around within the city or between the districts or something, then also there is a possibility that you may end up contracting COVID. For example, in the recent times in Dakshina Kannada, what we can see is a few people traveled from Mumbai, and now whoever is in contact with them will have to be quarantined, because that is where we have crossed the borders, yeah, or the boundaries. So, do you have doubts about physical distancing that you have maintained, and whether media exposure is making you fearful? Of course, the whole session today has been organized by journalism department, but at the same time, we also need to say that though media is doing its job, the media may be giving the numbers about the pits or the diagnosis of COVID-19 and so on. But at the same time, if you are not so mentally stable, or if you are vulnerable to such news, then certainly reduce your media exposure so that your fear will slowly come down. Yeah. Otherwise, you may end up palpitation, beating of heart, and throbbing and so on. So kindly take care of these things so that you can reduce your fear. Second major issue is anxiety. What is bothering you? Please write down. What are the things that bother you, especially in terms of anxiety? Whether lack of finances bothering you, or whether somebody else in the neighborhood has or probably has COVID-19 and that is bothering you. So there may be multiple reasons that are bothering you. Or for parents, the education of the children may be bothering, or for young professionals, the job issues may be bothering. So there may be multiple issues that are bothering us. So kindly write them down so that we will be able to recognize the issues or the factors that are influencing our mind. Yeah. Then what are the changes that you can see in your body? Second thing, like shivering, profusely sweating, trembling, becoming numb, and so on. These are the symptoms of anxiety. Many a times people do not or are not able to recognize what are the symptoms of anxiety. That's why even if mentally you are not that, if your body is responding in these ways, then certainly you will have to recognize that as an anxiety. And do you have panic attack? Panic attack is a little more severe kind of anxiety, where you may end up going blank or fainting and so on. So these are the symptoms of panic attack. And do you have such things as well? And whether the anxiety is about specific issue or a generalized issue. So this is another important thing. Do you feel anxious only when you are hearing about COVID-19, or are you feeling anxious about anything and everything? So, or is it so that there is no reason for your anxiety, but you are feeling anxious? So these are the things that you need to look at while being in this quarantine situation. Right. So going further, the third major issue is negative thoughts. Are you bombarded with negative thoughts? Is it like, what will happen to me? Will I contract COVID? Or will my father or will my parents contract COVID? What will happen in the future? What is my future? I am almost in the finishing stage of my education and I don't see any possibility of getting a job. So there may be multiple negative thoughts that are coming into your mind, and sometimes it will go on and you will not be able to take a break out of it. So see if you are restless because of these negative thoughts. Do you have a sense of extreme vulnerability? So this is another thing that you need to look at, that do you have a sense of extreme vulnerability? Are you vulnerable? And are you also okay to share your vulnerability? Yeah. Do you see the future as dark? So that is again, I mean, certainly, as we categorize timeline into BC and AD, similarly, we will have to categorize in the present time as before COVID, during COVID, and after COVID. So certainly, there will be a change in the way we live. Say today I was going through a report where Google and Facebook have already said that the employees need not come to their office till 2021, which is a very good sign. But at the same time, I also happened to read another report or newspaper report where Satya Nadella, the chief of Microsoft, saying that work from home may not be as good as working from office all the time. It may also enhance mental health issues. So I'll come to work from home issues and I mean related mental health issues at a later point of time. So do you see the future as dark, and do you feel that you are worthless? Do you feel that helpless? So all these things have to be taken care so that you will be able to see what is happening inside you. So I'm not suggesting cure or methods of treatments for all these thoughts, because in psychology every case is individualistic, and anxiety need not be generalized. It's not like a medicine system where fever will be cured by paracetamol for everyone or most of us. That's not the case in psychology. So I'm not asking or I'm not sharing any therapeutic interventions, but I'm only asking you to look at what is happening inside you, so that once you recognize what is happening, certainly you will be able to overcome it. So first thing that we all need to do is acknowledge whatever we are having, whatever the issues that we are going through. This is one more issue that has come up, that is relationship issues during quarantine. Say, a lot of families are having these issues. Earlier, what we wanted was time for each other. The family wanted time. We wanted to spend time with family, but we were busy in our own works. So we were all running a race. And all of a sudden, without even giving some time to slow down, COVID has put a big block into our race. And now, even when we have time for each other, we do not know how to spend with each other, or how we can utilize this time in the best possible way. So this is a major issue that is causing strains in the relationship. A lot of fights are happening among couples or family members. Parents and children have issues, difference of opinion, and that is causing further issues and so on. So there are multiple factors that are, for example, parents may be expecting their children to read some books, but at the same time children may be enjoying watching some videos or getting busy with their smartphones. So, and at the same time, earlier probably parents would have had an opportunity to tell their children to go out and play, but in many places that is not the case, that you are not supposed to go out, especially those who are living in apartments and so on. The children are not allowed to go out and play, so they do not have any other option but to engage with these digital devices, which is again another concern for me as a psychologist, because that will certainly increase addiction towards, or generic term, digital addiction. One more major concern we are seeing is domestic violence have increased many folds. People have started, most of the husbands have started beating their wives because of a lot of frustration. I am sure you all can relate to what had happened when the lockdown was a little relaxed and alcohol or liquor shops were opened for sale. So a huge amount of people were standing in the queue, and there was a lot of frustration and irritation among those who were addicted to alcohol, cigarettes, and so on. And work from home has become stressful. It is true for both men and women that Uh, while we are working from home, the expectation from the organization is to log in a little earlier. So many people end up logging earlier, say around 8 a.m. in the morning, and they end up finishing their work by 8 p.m. Though there may be some breaks in between, many times the working hours have become longer in work from home facilities, because of which that has actually broken the balance between work life, which needs to be re-ensured. And at the same time, when you are at home, certainly your children will expect you to spend some time with them, which may not be possible when you are working from home. So yesterday I was talking to a mother, and she has a small daughter, say around say 1.5 years, and her husband had to get into work from home, and he had a meeting, and this child wanted her father to take care of herself. So and he couldn't do it because he had to attend the meeting. Now it is actually a dilemma between which one to prioritize, and then it was very difficult for him, but at the same time the child started crying, and managing the children becomes very, very difficult for the parents as well. However, having said all these things, this time will also pass. This is a very, very optimistic statement that yes, we are in a difficult situation. This may go for a few months also. It's not that by May 31st everything will be over, because number of cases are increasing day by day. But at the same time, we also need to understand that this time will also pass. Now, what we need to do to keep up our mental health? First thing is have a very good routine. Earlier, because we had to go to office, we had specific timing, whether may not be just office, but also or anything for that matter. We had a specific routine. We had to get up at a specific time. We had to sleep because the next day we had to get ready for the day, and we had to start from home at a specific time. Everything was set right. Now, because of COVID, a lot of people have issues in sleeping. As we also saw that a lot of people have sleeplessness in them. Apart from that, since we get deviated ourselves towards say watching TV or movies and so on, there is actually a lot of people who end up watching TV or movies till late night, say 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, and then they sleep. So there is certainly sleep deprivation, and also sleep pattern has certainly changed. And since many of you also may also, I'm sure, know it, that the circadian rhythm, when it gets disturbed, certainly it will have an impact on our mental health. And sleep being one of the major contributors in mental health, if that gets disturbed, certainly the mental health will deteriorate. You might have seen even in general days that the day you had a very good qualities, certainly your calmness, your patience will be higher. The day you didn't have a proper sleep, you may end up getting irritated, frustrated, and say getting angry and so on. So there may be multiple mental health issues that are coming because of lack of sleep. And though a lot of people thought probably the quarantine time is very good for completing all the missed sleeps, we have actually ended up not sleeping much during this time. So I would suggest, please have a specific routine, have a specific sleeping time, when do you have to go to bed, and when will you wake up, and drink more water, eat good food, and physical exercises are also equally necessary. Please do not think that going to gym is the only way to exercise, or going to a ground and running and doing outdoor exercises or outdoor games are the means for exercise. You can explore multiple ways of exercising within the homes. Further, stay connected. Anyways, a lot of people have already started doing it or already doing it. They keep calling their loved ones, their friends, their family members. And in fact, the social media has been a great means for communication among all of us, and that has, in fact, that has also enhanced the sense of belongingness. But apart from only updating your posts or your status, it is also better if you give a collective consciousness to them, to others, so that there is a sense of belongingness, that we are there for each other. Because in India, not just in India but across the world, the family systems have got more nuclear, and people are becoming more isolated, and the mental vulnerabilities are more when we are isolated individuals. This is also true when we observe the issues of suicide as well. So please ensure that you are connected and engage in good hobbies: reading, writing, drawing, coloring, knitting, singing, dancing, and so on. So all these kinds of hobbies are very good, and it is always engaging you. Say, try to read new books which are available in internet as well. A lot of e-books are available. Start writing, also coloring. Use multiple pens and then draw. It can be some structure, some abstract drawing, or anything of that sort, but certainly that will help you in engaging yourself in a creative way. And dancing, I would suggest to everyone, irrespective of the age, whether you are a child, whether you are a student, whether you are a teacher, whether you are a parent, whether you are an old person. Dancing is something that is a very, very effective activity that will help in reducing the frustration and help in catharsis. So please lock yourself inside a room and please do dance. It is a very, very effective tool, and don't hesitate. Say, I am not a dancer, I have not danced in my whole life. All those things may come in your mind, but that is why I'm saying close yourself inside a room and then dance, so that nobody sees you, but at the same time you can explore your methods of dancing. And it is not for somebody, or it is not for presentation. It's just put some music and dance, so that you liberate a lot of suppressed emotions through dance. So please practice that. Apart from that, avoid too much of social media. While we suggest social media for being connected, but at the same time it should not be too much. So don't get into it apart from a certain period of time. And also avoid binge watching. Netflix, Amazon Prime have the subscriptions or for all these kind of apps or channels have gone manyfold, and a lot of people have started binge watching. Kindly have specific timing for your engagement with these kind of whether it is TV or mobile phone or whatever. And in case if you have too much of worries, too much of sadness and so on, kindly have a specific worry window. In the sense, what is a worry window is, in a day, mention a specific time and for you to worry about whatever. Say, even if you get any thoughts about some worryful situation, keep it for the worry window time, so that you will end up worrying only in that specific time and not otherwise. At least the rest of the time will be utilized in a better way. Methods to keep up good mental health. Yes, yogasanas, pranayama and dhyana are very, very good in supporting the mental wellness. If you do not have expertise or learnings in yogasanas, no problem. Please practice Surya Namaskara, which is a very simple physical exercise which you can again do within the household, and it doesn't take much time for you to learn it. And if you do not know pranayama techniques, it's okay. Kindly don't rely only on internet to learn pranayama and dhyana. However, you can simply practice deep breathing so that it calms you down. And when it comes to meditation, be watchful of your thoughts. That's very simple to where you can get into meditative state, because meditation is all about consciousness, enhancing your consciousness. So if you're watchful of what is happening inside you and around you, certainly your consciousness will and increase. So these are the few techniques, and then be grateful to what you have. A lot of people do not even have food, shelter, and clothing. At the same time, many of us do have, I'm sure, since we all have joined in a webinar like this, I'm sure most of us have basic needs fulfilled. So please be grateful for that. And journal writing is something that we suggest in general to everyone, not just during COVID-19 or COVID pandemic, even otherwise. Maintaining a journal is a very, very good exercise for our mental wellness. What is journal writing? Is writing or reflecting your thoughts, and we all have joined in a webinar like this. I'm sure most of us have basic needs fulfilled. Club is a concept that I conceptualized and I have already implemented in a school, and it has been very successful in terms of bringing down the anger issues among children. What do we do in Happiness Club is sharing our emotions with each other. So sit in a circular shape, and then one start looking at your emotions, and then slowly explore them, in the sense write down them initially if you feel that is helpful, and then share it with others. So others may reciprocate, others may also have similar feelings, and they may receive your feelings, they may reciprocate. So there may be multiple things that are happening at the same time. So this kind of exercise is very, very useful, though and it can be implemented at a family level as well. Now, another exercise that I would suggest is writing poems by contributing everyone. Say, if you are 4 in a family, you all can sit together and come up with poems like this. Say, I have written in multiple colors. The first 2 are children, the third one is father, and fourth one is the mother. So if you look at the screen, what it is saying is never thought, the first one says. The second son is saying never imagined. Father is adding that these days would be. Father is adding, pretending or thinking that the wife would write that is such a pathetic thing. But what she writes is so beautiful for us to blossom. So when you do this kind of exercises, certainly your own thought processes, your own emotions do come in the form of poem. Say, going further, I wonder, the son's reaction to mother's statement that it is so beautiful to blossom. The first son reacts, I wonder. Second son adds further, what is beautiful? And the father adds further, is it being at home? But mother concludes, spending time with each other. So it's not just being at home, but spending time with each other. Then the son again says, bored I am. The second son says, tired I am. Father says, frustrated I am. And the mother says, peaceful I am. This need not be the case every time. Maybe sons are more peaceful parents, or mother need not be peaceful every time. She may also have her own issues, but this is one way of exploring each of the thoughts and emotions you are finding it difficult to express verbally. So you can get into these kind of exercises, have a sheet and a piece of paper and pen, and go on exchanging from one to another, and then this kind of poems can come out. And it is a wonderful exercise to learn and understand each other. Apart from that, few things to keep in mind. Say, don't think that you are abnormal. Don't think that you are abnormal, that is, if you are at peace. One of my clients from Ahmedabad had called me asking, Look, people around me are extremely anxious, they're fearful, they are going mad about the whole quarantine period. But at the same time, I'm very peaceful, I'm chilling, I'm happy being at home with my daughter and husband. So I don't feel any kind of these emotions. But at the same time, I'm feeling, am I normal? Because everyone around me are feeling so. So this was a very genuine question that she had. So in fact, the one who is peaceful will be a normal person, or the mental health will be in a very good state. So please don't think you are abnormal just because you are at peace with the situation. It's actually everyone else have to come to this state of. The second thing that you need to look at is don't stress yourself to do something. Say whenever you attend these kind of sessions or any kind of webinars, most of the speakers will ensure or say that do something, do create, be creative. In fact, I also suggested you to come up with painting, drawing, and so on, even if you're not an artist. But at the same time, you don't have to do something forcefully. You can be at peace without doing anything. That is also okay. It is not. I mean, being empty is not a state of, or it's not a situation where you're not productive at all. Being empty will help you in exploring yourself. You can explore your emotions within yourself, need not come out in any other form. So free mind is good for creativity, that is true, but that having said that, please don't force yourself to do something or the other a creative entity. Community outreach can certainly happen, though now since the lockdown has relaxed to a larger extent, so people are getting back to their own work, so community outreach may not happen to a greater extent, but at the same time, maybe you can dedicate some time in your day-long work for the community so that you can give or you can bring smiles in a few people's face. So giving back to the society is something that will give sense of satisfaction and fulfillment. Now, talking about my mental illness formula, I have come up with this formula called REST. R stands for resilience and reflectivity. E stands for equilibrium of ABC. S stands for sense of fulfillment, satisfaction, and gratitude. T stands for true perception. Since due to lack of time, maybe I can discuss this whole one and only the formula for another discussion or some other time, where we can explore each of these components, whether what is resilience, what is reflectivity, and what is equilibrium of affection, behavior, and cognition, and so on. So for today, I'm just showing how we can actually maintain our mental wellness. And this is a formula that I have come up with as a response to a question that what is mental wellness. Yeah. Now, apart from all these things, having everything, I mean, doing everything which have already been mentioned is fine, but at the same time, we also need to get ready for the upcoming days or the future, where we need to enhance our skills. Say, if we say that I have learned or I have a degree in this and I will not go or do something else, then the days may be difficult. So please explore your own talents, whether it is video editing or photography or speech or singing, dancing, whatever, anything, crafting. There are multiple skills that, and if you are located in a village kind of area, please re-explore the village-based skills, like whether it is making a broomstick out of coconut leaves or anything of that sort, so that you can re-energize your own talents, and at the same time, these skills may lead you to come up with new ventures in the future. And at the same time, diversify your opportunities. Diversify leads to sustainability. So diversity, this is not a psychological formula, but the environmental formula that I have taken. As the diversity of the population is more, the sustainability of the population is higher. So if this holds true for an individual as well, if you are diversifying yourself, then certainly your opportunities are more. At the same time, vulnerabilities are less. If one field is sinking, then the other field will help you in coming up. For example, in the market, if you look at FMCG products were still flowing in the market even when the severe lockdown was put in place, though other commodities were not sold at all. So if somebody is into multiple fields, then certainly one or other field will help in keeping the life going on, and the life will become easier with the money flow and so on. And redefine your living style. Necessity, comfort, and luxury may have to be redefined for the time being. For many people, a car might have become a necessity at some point of time. Now it may have to go to the category of comfort or luxury, and we may have to go back to the public transport system or redefining our requirements and living standard or living style. There is no fault in this. Actually, we will be redefining based on, say, 20-year-old definition rather than the present definition of all these terms like necessity, comfort, and luxury. And there is a lot of opportunity in terms of social entrepreneurship. Because of this crisis, a lot of people have become champions of beating the hunger or providing medicines or any kind of such support. So a lot of social entrepreneurship has come up. In fact, I know a person who was running a restaurant in Mumbai who has come up with a social venture where he's providing food for 10,000 people every day, which is a very great thing, and his work has been recognized by Brihan Mumbai Corporation as well. And such kind of things can certainly happen in this pandemic situation, which is going to continue for at least a couple of months or maybe a year or so. And there is an interesting Zen story. I'm just concluding in another 3-4 minutes. So there is an interesting Zen story that says that one day a Zen monk was plowing his field in the area where he was located. A traveler comes to him and says that, look, I am coming from that hill. I stayed with the community there, and it was very, very difficult for me to be with them. They saw me with a lot of doubt. They didn't treat me well, and I felt very, very agitated and in fact disrespected in that community. So in fact, it was totally a bad experience altogether. And now I'm going to live with another community in the valley. So what do you suggest? How that community would be, or how would they treat me? The Zen monk says, probably you will have the same experience. And after a few days, another traveler comes in the similar fashion. And the traveler is, again, this traveler is also excited and curious to know what would be there in the valley. But before that, he says, look, I had a great experience in the hill with the community. They treated me so well. I was almost considered as part of the community. They were so kind and lovely to me. And in fact, I felt that I am part of the community. But since I am a wanderer or I am a traveler, I have to move on. I had to start from there, but it was very difficult, and most of them cried when I left the community. So I'm wondering how the community in the valley would be. Zen monk says the same answer. Probably you will have a similar experience. Basically, what is the moral of the story is, it is upon us that how the situation would be. If we can determine how other people would react to us, how other people would respond to us. So it's us, it is within us who would lead this kind of thing. So it is, even in this situation, it is for us to look at the situation in what way. We will have to decide what way we want to look at it, in a pessimistic way or an optimistic way. And certainly the situation would turn out to be so, because it is we who will determine what it is. Yeah, so even after doing all these things, if your psychological troubles or agonies are continuing, then certainly you can call us at 08047113940, which is SAHI helpline. I'm the chief counselor there, and we have a group of around 40 counselors working with us, volunteering with us, and we will be able to provide some kind of solace to those who are getting issues with any kind of mental health issues, whether it's fear, anxiety, or anything of that sort. So please note down this number, so that if you are not somebody who is going through this kind of situation or experiences, if somebody who knows you or whom you know is going through a similar situation, please feel free to refer this number to them. And one more lesson from history, I feel this is very appropriate to say in this time, because lockdown has relaxed and people have started moving without maintaining proper physical distancing. So we have to be very careful about this. And as it happened in 1918 during Spanish flu, where it had lasted for 2 years and in 3 waves, as soon as the lockdown is relaxed, people do not care much about the physical distancing and the preventive measures, and then the disease burden increases manifold, and then we have to lock down further. So instead of giving an opportunity for similar situation, let us be mindful of ourselves and try to maintain distance as much as possible and move out only if it is necessary, so that we will be able to overcome this menace that has caused due to COVID-19, and then lead a better life. Now I'm open for questions. I think already we had one question, I suppose. How the people of old age in the family given time by youngsters, has the good practice of joint family emerged back? A very, very in question. In fact, in my understanding and my studies, what I have found is joint families are much better in terms of mental health resilience than the individual or nuclear families. So, and at the same time, a lot of people are going back to their villages from the cities. This is true for Bangalore, Mumbai, Delhi, and any other cities, even in New York. I was reading a report where people, even in America, have started moving out of cities and staying back with the villages. So certainly a kind of joint family, if not joint family, jointed nuclear families may come up in the course of time, and it is actually a very good sign that people will develop more compassion and empathy for each other, and individual aspirations will be continued, but at the same time collective aspirations and collectiveness will also be there, and it will be more. Yeah, I think this is the time to leave city life and think of self-living methods, like focus on cattle and cattle cultivation. Very rightly said, sir. And it is true that we have to we go back to villages can be a new statement and new norm in the coming days. During this COVID-19, many of the college students are there at home and stay away from bad habits which they had during colleges. Now my question is, can you please come up with the question? How to get away from depression caused by finance problems, or any temporary solutions? Well, look at what's, it is true that a lot of people are going through financial problems, because most of us had our own EMIs, we had our own financial security, we had a specific salary coming in or an income coming in, even if you are self-employed. So you had your own financial plans which have got upset because of this crisis. Certainly it is true, but at the same time, the government is also equally compassionate. So please look at what are the financial problems that you have and see what else could be done for addressing this so that you can overcome depression. And also you can take help from trained counselors or life coaches who can guide you in managing the crisis and see how you can manage the finances so that because depression is a consequence of financial crisis. Unless you address the financial problems, you will not be able to overcome depression. So it has to be addressed from that perspective. Yeah, how students can stay away from bad habits and having stable mind even after COVID-19. Yes, a lot of people had reduced tobacco consumption in terms of both in terms of cigarette and chewing tobacco because of lockdown, and it is a very good sign that that has come up. So what you need to do is just make up your mind. If I have stayed all these 50-60 days without having a cigarette, without eating tobacco, or without having any other addictions, then certainly I can lead my life without them. So this is just a simple mental makeup that you need to make. And what you can also practice is make yourself saying, I will not get into this, I will not get into this, or I will lead a life without having bad habits, whether it is cigarette or alcohol or any for that matter. Any other questions?
A few questions are coming up, sir.
Yeah.
Your
adapting to the
some
change
network issues there, I think. Yeah,
I
you
see.
go ahead.
I mean, I'm not able to see the upcoming questions. Yeah. Adapting to change post-COVID is not easy for everyone. Many can't lead their life the way they want it to be. So this will create a discomfort. What would you suggest to those who won't be able to get job? Yes, our aspirations were quite high before COVID-19. I agree. We had thought about our own ideas, or we had our own dreams that I will lead a life like this. I will go to city, or I will get a job in this country or this kind of company, and then I will flourish myself, I will be having this much salary and so on. But that is not the case. A lot of people are being removed from the jobs. I saw Uber removed around 3,000 people in just 10 minutes conversation. And also I also heard Swiggy or Zomato also had removed a lot of people from job. So job crisis is going to be there. And certainly, as I said, we will have to redefine our living styles and our aspirations in terms of necessity, comfort, and luxury when it comes to materialistic wealth. So, apart from that, what are the jobs? Say you may not be able to get the job that you aspired for, but what could be the better alternative that we need to think about, so that we will be able to move on with whatever the job that is available and keep looking for opportunities in the field that you wanted to get into. Social distancing becoming more popular in usage. Is it proper usage? I feel physical distancing. Yes, physical distancing is the right term than social distancing, because it is actually not social distancing, but it had a kind of usage, and maybe I also might have used it without my knowledge, but it is physical distancing, not social distancing.
Akshara sir, here is one more question. I received. Hello.
Sure.
There is one question from a parent.
Yeah.
How to reduce screen addiction among children during COVID-19?
Interesting. So there are multiple things that we can do. One thing is reading habit has reduced a lot among children. So can you give small tasks for a child? I don't know what is the age of the child. So maybe my answer is a little more generic than specific. So one thing is you can promote reading habit among children, or even if they are using digital devices, promote them to read something and have discussions about what they have read. One. Apart from that, also, make them aware that how damaging these digital devices are, whether it is not just to the eye but also to the mind, and then get them, say, also if the child is grown up, then is in household. Many parents have this big stigma in terms of getting their children engaged in the household works like sweeping, cleaning, washing vessels, and so on. So please don't have that, because these are the life skills that everyone should have. So please engage them in these kind of activities as well, so that you give them certain tasks so that the screen time reduces. And even if they become a little aggressive initially, make sure that you do not get angry but respond in a very calm way, so that slowly they get into this kind of activities, and slowly the screen time reduces. It cannot happen all of a sudden. Certainly it's a gradual process, but other activities should overpower the digital devices.
Yeah, next question is there. How about those who are already addicted for this screen things and all, and we are concentrating on physical problem, but what about mental problem, they're asking?
Because of the digital addiction. Yes, in the studies, what we have come across is, these days we can see even one end of using smartphone, but because of that, what has happened is the kinesthetic abilities have reduced. Only the thumb will be moving up and down, but other fingers are not being used, because swiping happens, especially the children swipe through their thumbs, not through other fingers. So this is one. Secondly, it has also impacted in terms of children have become more isolated. Their interaction with the other peers have reduced, and also many times they don't even interact with their parents. So these are the mental issues, and at the same time we also do not know what kind of things that they are looking at. And we have seen PUBG being a damaging game, and at the same time we also saw other games which were really damaging to the children. So mental health will certainly be damaged, or at least disrupted, because of these digital devices. So what you can do is actually at least put some alarm where, say, after half an hour give break, do some task, and then only you will be getting the digital device. So something like that. Say, in order to get the digital device, you have to finish some task. After half an hour or 45 minutes, you have to do this task to continue with the digital device. Something like that has to be done, irrespective of even if the child has grown up to 15, 16 years over 16 years old. Even then, you will have to be a little strict in this, because digital devices are leading or taking us to a very wrong direction. We have to have the control over the digital devices, not the other way.
Yeah, sir, another question is there from parent. How as a parent can we prepare our kids for school after lockdown, because their regular routine is completely going to change, and it would be really difficult for a parent. Yes sir, how to address this issue?
Well, we really do not know when the schools are going to open, and in one of the countries where they opened up the school, I don't remember which country, I was just reading that report yesterday night or so. So the children have started contracting COVID-19, and it is very, very difficult to handle it now. So
yes.
We don't
70 kids have been infected.
Yes. So it is not a good idea to open up the school at this point of time. And yes, when do open, certainly children may have issues in terms of they will not be allowed to mingle as they used to be, or they even in the classrooms they may be forced to sit separately with the physical distancing, all these things. But children are, what I have seen is children are quite accommodative in terms of all these changes that are happening in the present time. I have seen a lot of children who understand, especially say 3-4-year-old kid who can also understand what is happening around, and it responds in its own way. So please don't underestimate your child, saying that my child may not understand at all, but try to educate the child that why we are doing it and how we have to take care of ourselves, so that generally children will be cooperative. That is what my observation is. Though there are exceptions, like some children are very naughty and they do not listen to what we say. That is there in the normal situation also. It's not something that has come up because of COVID. So in such cases, you may have to adopt some other methods in terms of disciplining or in terms of making them understand what it is. But otherwise, children are quite cooperative. Even the special children, because I am also a consultant for an organization which is working with special children. They are also quite cooperative. Only thing is we as adults, teachers or parents have to take care a bit, but otherwise people are quite cooperative. So let us not underestimate our children. They are intelligent enough.
Sir, few questions are there in the chat box.
What has happened is I'm not able to swipe them up and down.
Okay,
So
okay. I'll read. Sir, there is one question from faculty. Sir, many of the students worried of job after this season, especially final year PG or UG students. So, what is your opinion for student in media field or any other field? What would be the alternative thing they can take up?
Yes, even in the media field, a lot of jobs are being cut. Those who were already in the jobs have lost their jobs. So for those who are upcoming, what they can actually do is they can start citizen journalism. They can also start as freelancers where they can contribute their own stories to the media houses, and there are a lot of media houses which are encouraging, or maybe in course of time media houses will encourage more citizen journalists like them than having their own employees at the district level or taluk level and so on. So I'm sure take up your field. For example, if you want to focus on science reporting or culture, reporting on culture or whatever, take up a specific field and excel in that, so that certainly you as freelancer can also contribute in a good way. And of course, web media is another way of contributing. In fact, I was in a discussion with the web media expert recently that can we come up with a course material for journalism students on how we can actually, what are the intricacies of web media and how one can get into web media, flourish in this sector. So maybe I will update on that front by the first week of June, so that maybe such diversification is something that is necessary for all of us. In fact, even in the counseling field, what I am seeing is earlier in-person counseling sessions used to happen a lot, but now due to COVID, most of the people have also accommodated themselves, not just the counselors, but also the clients have started accommodating themselves to the online medium. So slowly things are going to change, and certainly we will have to utilize internet in the best possible way for our benefit.
Okay. Sir, there is one very important question. Can you share some words to the people or students who are stuck at their place, not able to reach their family or hometown or native place?
can you repeat the question? I didn't.
Yeah, see, the people, professionals or students who are stuck in their working place, means colleges or organization and all, and they're not seeing their parents, people or hometown. So, such as in this situation, what would be better for them to overcome from this anxiety or stress?
All right. So, yes, this is a very practical issue. Even I am facing that. We are stuck in our own working places and or the place where we were working, and our parents are back home. So what you can actually do is you can move, rather than voice call, it is better to have video calls quite often, maybe or twice a day, which gives them a kind of belongingness. And at the same time, if you can also see if any friend of yours is there somewhere around and they can be of any kind of help in case if they want something, can they provide to them? Or you can also get in touch with some NGOs which are working in your own hometown, so that you can ensure that there is a support structure that is available for your parents, and at the same time being there through telephone or video call will also making them feel better. Because in the old age, what happens is the only network for them is to mingle with the people of their own age. But because of physical distancing, that is also not possible at this point of time. Or you can also educate them on using Zoom call or Google Meet or something like that. In fact, that may also help. Say, just to quote, recently Rajdip Sardesai had an interaction with his mother. I'm sure most of you know who is Rajdip Sardesai is. So the video is available on YouTube. So it's a very candid conversation with his mother. So I'm sure most of us are having a similar helpless situation, and certainly we have to overcome it with these kind of methods. You don't have to feel guilty, because it is not you who has created this kind of situation. It's a pandemic that has affected the whole world. So it is not just you who is in similar situation. So whatever the best possible things that we can do as individuals has to be done.
Yes, sir, we have a last question. The question is that the whole scenario, education sector changing, because the mode of online, it may be the new normal hereafter, probably. Yes. Because UGC also said that 25% should be online. In this juncture, we have seen in Bangalore also some students, parents are some disturbance for the teachers. In the student perspective, one way, the problems they are facing, and another perspective, lecturers, teachers are facing. So altogether, what would be the better way? As well as there is another question related to this digital addiction, and we can link here also. Will shift in the choice of content help, the mode of or the how to presentations? What is your opinion on this, sir?
Yes. This is a big challenge in terms of preparing PPT for teachers. And everything cannot be taught in PPT, especially mathematics kind of subject cannot be taught on PPT. What we maybe instead of preparing PPTs, what we can also come up with is there is teachers may utilize digital boards in order to teach the students instead of using PPT, because preparing PPT itself is a big headache for a lot of people. So maybe digital boards would be a better solution than PPTs, one. And yes, it is also difficult for teachers to ensure whether the student is alert in terms of in the class. So it has to be a little more interactive, and we will have to keep asking questions and check whether the students are alert. So there, in terms of this whole education system, it is going to be a little challenging. But at the same time, I may also suggest, why not say if it is younger students, then maybe their education has to happen in localized way rather than traveling to a distant school. So Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan had visualized that every child has to get a school within 1 kilometer. So if this dream or this vision comes into reality, certainly the teacher will not have these issues. Yes, digitally teaching is a challenge for most of the teachers, and my suggestion is, apart from PPT, digital board is better, so that it is more actively participating, and teacher need not prepare or collect pictures and other things from elsewhere and teach. It can be as in a classroom.
Okay, sir, one more question. So it is related to about the student perspective. So it may be online class, exams, assignments, on time. There is no offline or online examinations, and also the future education mode. What would be the effect on them? Because there is a delay in class examination. There will be delay in the whole academic year also. So what is your suggestion to utilize this time as well as to overcome from this anxiety?
Yeah, so what I would again suggest is, since the academic year is getting delayed, at the same time what we can actually do is you can get into say reading something else or learning something else side by side. So a person can learn two things at the same time. There are online classes happening. Say there are courses happening on Coursera kind of platforms or Udemy kind of platforms, so people can learn or certification from those courses as well, so that they, as an individual, for a student, the whole thing is to learning. So the process of learning should not stop irrespective of what is happening outside. So I would suggest, why not get into these online courses, or maybe my also suggestion to my own institution, Alva's institution, that why can't we come up with online courses so that they can certify themselves after finishing that course, something very similar to Coursera, so that the whole process of learning will continue and the student will not have to get stuck because of the examination and other things, since online has become a new norm.
Okay, sir, we'll take one last question. We'll wind up, sir. Because it's very important, I feel. In COVID-19 situation, village people are very less mentally stressed because they can travel outside, they can do agriculture works, and they can breathe fresh air, and because the total village atmosphere is there. So, but city people have different things. They can't go to park. Even now, there is a limited entry to parks and all. So, in this situation, what is your suggestion to city people?
This is a real challenge for city people. However, say looking at Bangalore perspective, because every city has its norms. Say in Bangalore, what is happening is in the morning after 7 a.m. you can go for a walk, though not in a park, but in or some parks have also opened up, but for a limited number of people. You can wear a mask and go for a walk. It's not a problem. The only thing is you have to maintain physical distancing. That's it. So go for a walk in the morning or even in the evening, but before 7 p.m. so that you're not violating the norms. But at the same time, some kind of activity that is very, very essential, because yesterday I had a case where the person was suffering from claustrophobia because the person was locked inside the house for all these days. So my simple suggestion was go for a walk, because when you go out, certainly you will be coming out of this closed space, fear of closed space. So it is still possible, walking is still possible. Only thing is you have to take care of preventive measures and always carry a sanitizer with you, so that even if you happen to touch anything, any surface externally, please sanitize yourself so that you can take care of yourself. And it's not necessary that just because you contract COVID, you will only the death is the solution. You can certainly overcome it. So being strong mentally and physically, enhancing your immunity, all these things are something that you need to work upon.
Yes, sir. So I hope most of the questions have been addressed. And now I request you to give any conclusion remarks if you have.
Yeah, I thank Alvas College and PG Department of Journalism for having me here, and it was a very wonderful experience for me to answer so many questions. In fact, I don't know, because of some technical error, I was not able to go through the questions myself. Apologies for that. Maybe if you have any other questions, you can certainly ask questions Department of Journalism or directly to me. You can me at manosamvada@gmail.com, at manosamvada.com, and please ensure that your mental well-being is in a very good shape, so that you will not be you don't have to worry much about other things, and also be in a better shape. So I would suggest everyone to stay happy, stay healthy, and also be mentally prepared for whatever the situation is, whatever the circumstances are. We will be able to face them collectively, and when we are working collectively, certainly it is not difficult for us to overcome any kind of crisis, even whether it is a job loss. So our collective consciousness has to increase. Certainly we will be able to beat the crisis and overcome COVID-19.
Okay,
Thank you so much.
okay, Akshara sir. Thank you very much. And I hope the delegates from various states were there, and different professionals and students from different sectors, genres. So lot of people have been listened here, and lot of people are watching live through our media collaborative firms like newskarnataka.com as well as V4 News channel. So I hope everyone got the right information, apt information, which will help us to lead the life in this pandemic situation and post-pandemic situation. And on behalf of Alvas College, Alvas Education Foundation, as well as the Department of Journalism and Mass Communication, I wholeheartedly thank you, Akshara, for giving us such a wonderful presentation and interacting questions, answering questions for very genuine questions also. And thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
And also I am thankful to everyone who joined here and who watched the live streaming in newskarnataka.com as well as V4 News. Thank you everyone. And I'm especially thanked to my colleagues as well as team News Karnataka, especially the technical head Narayan Raj, for making it in a broader perspective to reach the whole world. And I'm wholeheartedly thank you everyone. With this note, I will conclude this session. Thank you everyone.
Thank you. Thank you so much.